You already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. Uncut, unedited. All right, this is where we
Tell the truth
and what?
and shame the devil.
All right, Facebook. I haven't seen you guys in a couple of days, but I'm back, back, back in style. This is live, uncut, unedited. Come on in. Don't forget to hit me up with some stars now. All right. Don't forget, I ain't making no living off you now. You know, some folks think this your livelihood. This is not my livelihood at all. What's up, Peggy? Peggy Gay in the house. What's up, Peggy? Christine Reed. What's going on? How you doing, Miss Reed? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? All right. It's good to be back. For my YouTube family, appreciate you. Those of that don't, Erica, what's up, Erica? I'm back, Erica. They can't keep a good man down. I'm back, Erica. I see you, Lisa. What's up, Lisa? What's up? Sandra Briggs. What's up, Sandra? All right. Miss Virginia Beasley. What's up? Sadie Willis. What we're talking about tonight? Oh, man, I'm talking about what we've been talking about. Karen Winslow. You said, well, what is that, Martin? We've been talking about these young folks. The weather getting ready to change, people. It's finna be back on again. All right. Billy Kinslow, what's going on? Lewis Ramsey, what's going on, brother? Riding out to Omaha, okay. Nebraska, okay. Lavelle Cunningham, what's going on, brother? Nathan, what's up, brother Nate? Brother Nathan, what's going on, bro? What's going on? Yeah, I tell you, people, it's around that time. Time to subscribe to my YouTube, people. YouTube, all right. Christina, Anna, Marie, what's going on? Marcia Jackson, hey, how you doing? All right. Let's see who else I got on. Rosina Ziegler, I think. Greetings, you bless all. That's right. Greetings. Nisha Thomas Taylor, what's going on? Monique McGee, all right. I see you. Rita Sykes, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. I promise you, it's good. I'm back. Back. People had me a little break. You know, y'all know how when I lock on like a pit bull. You got to pry me off. Pry me off. I tell you. Pry me off. Yeah, we're here. Give us some wisdom. That's all what it's about. Mary Reed, I'm telling you. I tell you. All right, DeLawrence Brownlow. What's up, brother? I've been following your posts, been checking out. There go my partner, Vera Giles Norris, in the house. Missing, please come home. Guess what, people? If you need some life insurance, you can call up Vera Giles Norris. She'll take care of you. Leslie Brown. What's up, Leslie? What's going on with you? What's going on with you? I see you. I see you. I see you. Mary Reed, what up? Keep it up. You always keep it 100. That's the only way I know to keep it, Mary. I tell you. Williams Dixie. What's up, William? All right. Sadie Willis said we have to continue talking about these kids and things that we can do to keep them safe. And that's correct, Sadie. That is so true. Don Tyson, what's going on? Ariel Thomas, I think that's it. Shout out to Dr. Sanders, Erica Marcus, and Vera Norris, and Charles McKenzie. All right. Wanda Webb. What's up, Wanda? This is Sunday morning. Laverne Smith Bell. The church folk, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. My goodness, glory to God. All right. Monique Joy. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. All right. Cara Watson. All right. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Rastaman Cox. Well, you know Rastaman. Rastaman, there's a lot of things going on around, you know. Certain things must go on. Me tell a boy a long time ago, you never test me because me a gondoliero. All right. Sadie Willis. All right. Got my Rasta man on there. Rasta. Big up. Respect to all Jamaicans in the house. All right. Marcus Robertson. What's up, Marcus? Marcus got them old folks sense, boy. I tell you. Lavelle Cunningham. Kim Jackson. The topic is the topic that you love, Marcus. These young folks. We back on these young folks again. It's finna get warm again, Marcus. And listen, we got to strategize. I'm telling you, it's finna get warm again. And it's finna get warm again. I'm telling you. And it's finna be on. It's finna be on. I tell you. Jimmy Dean, what up, homie? I see you. All right. Anisha Allen, Chi-Town, what's happening? All right. Dionell Hill, what's going on? Reb the Barbara, I see you. James Pooh, I see you. I see you, James. Chicago Against Violence. James Pooh, man, I looked at some of them old pictures, man. We've been out here a while, bro, on the street. I be giving myself 4-5 years, man. I go back further than that. My goodness. Stephen Darkins. Hey, from Schungberg. All right. Cliff Harris, what's going on, bro? I'm hanging in there, man. I'm glad to be living in the land of the living. I tell you. I tell you. It's good to be living. Mary Reed. I tell you, Tree Ray, what's up? Well, come on, call in, Marcus. If they gonna hate
the truth
and what?
And shame the devil.
Rasta man, listen to the show tonight while I enjoy a red stripe. My man. I tell you, Rasta man, boy, hey, boy, I love reggae music, man. I was up on reggae music back in the 90s, man, the early 90s. Black folks wouldn't even eating jerk chicken. They didn't know nothing about that. Plantain and red beans and rice. Man, listen. Man, I go back, man. Hanging in the Exodus on the north side. Come on. We call it the hole in the wall. I see you, Marcus. Glenn Stubbs. All right. I'll be right with you, Marcus. I tell you. That's where we fighting a good fight. All right. Jalen. Alexis, what's going on, girl? Happy birthday, good girl. You showed out, didn't you? I seen you. I seen you, cutie pie. I seen you. Andrea Pie Bland, what's going on? All right. Yeah. All right. Erica, what's up, Erica? Hey, y'all, I love Erica. Erica crazy like me. That's probably why we get along. She is crazy. But Madden. All right. She said, what do you know about Caribbean? Erica, I'm an old man, 54 years old. Me know a lot of things. Certain things go on, When we used to hit the clubs, I used to tell them boys, wheel out. All right. Is that Gussie Jones? All right. Robert Brown. Yes, sir. Kelly Black. What's up, Kelly? I see you. Eve. What's up, Eve? All right. Come on, Marcus. Talk to us. I know Erica going to call. You better get yours in for Erica because you know Erica like to take over the show. Come on, Marcus. Talk to us.
Well, Martin, God be the glory. Let me say this before anybody think I hate young people.
All right.
I love young people. I hate to see them in the condition that they're in. And there's so many of them that's not into that. We have a lot of things that's going on in Chicago besides the trendy. There's a flag football game that's played every Sunday at Taylor Park. A lot of young adults, because young adults need something to do too. Those are the ones that's misleading these kids. At the same time, we have other things going on. And if these kids want to be a part of it, it's not like they don't know that it's going on. The park district has programs for them, but if you're going up there to make trouble, then you make it hard for people to do their job. So I want young people to turn on a brain that God gave them and think about your actions before you commit those actions. You don't have to come up to the park and tear down the basketball rim. that you play on. You don't have to bathe your dog in the water fountain that you drink out of. When you're done playing basketball, you just don't have to do those things. And they can go downtown and be trending all they want, but have some damn sense and be civilized about it.
Mhm.
Don't go down there to get the police to chase you because you're flirting with danger. And all it takes is for one of them trigger-happy cops to pull their gun out and shoot you. And they know they're going to get away with it. They'll take the suspension. They'll even take the 30 days in jail or whatever. They know they're going to get off eventually. And the people that's behind them are going to take care of them. I know it's about to get warm. I hope that the same group of people who went down there on that rainy weekend will go down there and meet them halfway when it gets warm, but meet them with some sense. You can't reach all these kids. Just can't. I was on the elevator at this high-rise today right in Inglewood, and I ended up on the elevator with a group of young teen boys, and I could sense by the way they were acting, they were up to no good. They weren't a threat to me, but what they were doing was riding the elevator, going to other people's apartments. Then I thought to myself, why would anybody want to raise their kids in a high-rise building? That's not a place to raise your kids. And I understand that people don't have the financial status like some people. But for the people who are thinking about having kids, think about where you're going to raise them at. Is a high-rise building a place to raise any kids? You imagine yourself cooped up in an apartment. Maybe it's cool for adults, but it's not cool for kids, whether they're teenagers or younger. It's not a cool place for them to be at every day. And they will find other things to occupy them. And if they have to ride the elevators and knock on people's doors or force their way up to people's apartments, that seems to be fun to them, but a dangerous thing. We got to give these kids something to do, and these kids got to want to do the right thing themselves.
Now, let me ask
And
you.
I'm going to leave it at that right
Hold on. Before Erica, I got Erica on here. Hold on, Marcus. Let me ask you a question. Now, do you believe that we'll be able to save every young person is not going to listen to us? So we're going to always have. No. Okay. I just want to ask you that because.
Here's what we need to do.
Okay.
Save the ones that we can reach. We can't worry about the ones we can't reach.
Okay. But see, the ones.
And maybe they can reach the ones we can't reach.
Right. The ones that we can't reach, they get blamed for the ones that we do reach. See, y'all went downtown, y'all talked to them babies, and look, they still doing something. That's, and let me just say this. I want to say this in love. I'm going to say it in love. A lot of people, adults, know that they're not going to get involved. So when they see other adults getting involved, trying, and they wait to any little mishap and say, see, that's why I ain't go out there. No, you didn't want to go out there because you didn't want to put in the work. Don't blame it on the other the adults that went out there and tried to make a difference. See, I noticed that too. You got a lot of people out here, man. They don't want to put in the work, man. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to do it. But then when people like you, Erica, myself, and everybody else go down there, Robert and all that, then they want to criticize. Y'all wasting y'all time going down there talking to them young folks. Y'all wasting y'all time. Now, just imagine the young person that we tried to talk to or we didn't want to talk to shoot and kill your son or daughter the next day. And we be on news, we be online and say, you know what? That's the same guy that we should have talked to him that shot and killed so-and-so's daughter or son. It can happen. It can happen.
I just want to say this before you go to Eric.
Okay, go ahead.
We got to speak to the ones that ain't hearing us, even if we know that they're not hearing us, right?
Right.
We got to keep speaking to them. We can't not, because they may not hear us around their peers. It may seem like they don't believe in what we're saying, but they know we're telling the truth. But they in that ego moment. They in that I got to prove myself moment. We
Mhm.
can't give up on them. I'm not saying give up on them, but to be honest with you, there are some that just don't want to do right. They
Mhm.
want to do wrong, and then they have to deal with the consequences of doing wrong.
Mhm. Erica. Erica. Erica.
Martin, Martin. So you like Caribbean things, them?
Yeah,
You like
me
Caribbean
love them. Me love them. Caribbean food too. You know,
stuff?
I tell you.
I
Oh
love
yeah,
it. They gotta
yeah.
make you some peas and rice and dumpling and
Oh
things.
yeah, me love it.
Because you
Me
know,
love
y'all
it.
know, I don't know. I'm
Uh,
half, I'm half Caribbean and half black and black. Okay,
girl,
so that's
hey,
my
you
heritage right
black
there.
girl. Quiet.
I know,
Go
like
ahead,
I'm
Erica.
black mixed with black,
All right, go ahead.
double black, double chocolate.
Double black, double black.
But yeah. So yeah, the stuff that Marcus was talking about, I just wanted to touch on a couple of them. So I think, like, one of the things I really work on is root causes. And when we see things going on, like with the youth Martin mentioned, with the basketball hoops, the riding up the elevators, the high rises, there's actually a lot of research about what we see and what Marcus saw and what's actually behind it. For example, the basketball hoop thing, right? Tearing down the basketball hoops. I don't know if y'all know about this, but do y'all know that sometimes it be the cities that will literally tear down the basketball hoop because they don't want black kids out there playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually the cities that tear down those basketball hoops, right?
I
So
agree.
when we see tore down basketball hoops, a lot of times that's done on a legislative level, not necessarily the kids. And then on top of that, the high-rise thing and the kids messing around on the elevators and just, acting wild stuff. So I once had an honors Chicago history class when I went to Roosevelt University. And it was this really old man, and he had been in Chicago for years. He's a professor, and he visited our class. And he showed us a slide on the projector. It was black and white, but it was like a project. You could tell it was a project. It was real raggedy and run down. And he asked the class, because it's a Chicago history class now, he asked, and we supposed to be the honors kids, we supposed to be smart. He said, which project are y'all looking at? So we raised our hands. A bunch of people said, oh, Robert Taylor Home, Capri Green. Like, people was yelling at all these Chicago projects. And he was like, all of y'all are wrong. He was like, the picture you're looking at is a picture of a project housing in Ireland.
Mm.
And we were shocked. We were like, Ireland? And we was like, this looks just like the hood. And he said, what they found when they did the study, because, Ireland is like a bunch of white people. Ain't no black people over there. And they said what they found was the reason why that project home that we was looking at was run down, just like the project you see in the hood, is because of the child to adult ratio. I want y'all to hear that.
Mm.
The child to adult ratio.
Mm.
So basically what they found was whenever you have more children to adult ratio, meaning in most projects in the hood, it's a 5 or 6 to 1 ratio of kids to adults. And a lot of that we know comes from the history of black people where the men couldn't live in the house or the projects because then the women would lose their benefits. It was like legislated that way. You couldn't have a man in the home. The social service people would come and inspect to make sure you ain't had no man in the home. Otherwise you lose your food stamps and stuff. You had to hide them in the closet and stuff. So basically it caused men to have to live elsewhere, which lowers the child to adult ratio.
You don't know nothing about that. You just read some in the books, girl. You don't know nothing about that. What you talking about?
I'm not.
Hey, listen, Erica,
I'm talking facts, Martin.
Erica, I lived that experience. Trust me, I've lived that experience. Where the man could be in the house and when he had to leave the house and they had to come in and check. Erica, I lived through that. You wouldn't believe it, but I've lived. Not me, but my father. I had to, go ahead, sis. I just want to throw that at you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I bet, Martin. I bet. And let me full disclosure, y'all. Full disclosure. I'm young. I wasn't alive for like a lot of that. or like thought of, but when this is presented to people like you, Martin, who were alive, when this research is presented, they always give a check mark like, yep, that's exactly how it was. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I've had presented this before people like you, Martin, who grew up with it as somebody my age, just to verify, like, is what I'm reading and what I'm learning in school true? And always they say, girl, yes. And so one of the things that they found in the study, Martin, was that, like, when the child to adult ratio is too off or too high, it causes there to be a lot of breakdown of building structures. So basically, when there's not enough adults to supervise children, that's when you get pee in the elevator. That's when you get graffiti on the walls and drawing on the wall. That's when you get kids running amok, because it's literally too many kids for the adults to supervise. Meanwhile, if you go to like a wealthy suburb or a wealthy apartment building, because there are high rises that are wealthy, right? The child to adult ratio is usually 2 to 1, not 6 to 1 or 7 to 1. It's usually at most 2 children to every 1 adult. So even if you see a child running around and playing in the elevator, there's so many adults compared to children that you can handle it. You can stop them. But once it gets to too many children to adults, you can't control all them damn children. It's going to be pee everywhere. It's going to be writing on the walls everywhere. And that's why the white project that we looked at on the projector that didn't have not one black person in it looked just as run down like a black project, because they had a ton of kids. It was like a very poor Irish neighborhood in Ireland that had a lot of kids. They had a lot of kids and not a lot of adults, because a lot of the men was off trying to get journeyman work or whatever, some history behind that. So there was a lot of women left to take care of all the kids, and they had a lot of kids. They used to have a lot of kids with the Catholic religion and stuff.
Erica.
And they was in a similar predicament.
Erica.
And that's why it was so ragged.
Miss Erica, hold it, Erica. You ain't gonna overtalk me. Now I'm just playing with you. Listen, let me ask you a question. Now, what you just said, can you witness that right now? I know a place right now is exactly what you said, but they're not stacked on top of each other. I know a place right now, just like what you just said. You don't have to say a name out because I don't want to offend with nobody live it, but I know a place right now exactly what you said. Right now, I'm talking about 2023. Exactly. So that it still exists. Even though I don't know how long ago that was in your class, that the project, but that still exists right now today. That ratio still exists, still going on.
Absolutely, Martin.
And Martin,
Absolutely,
can I say
Martin. See, that class I took was probably like 2016 or so.
Yeah, let Marcus say something. You come on back. Go ahead, Marcus.
Okay, when I'm not doing photography, I do a lot of deliveries, right?
Yeah.
So the building I went to today, I got the perspective from the young adults. The building that I went to about a year ago, I delivered to this teenage boy. And all these teenagers are standing out by this building. And I had to catch myself, and I said, wait a minute. They live here. I asked these kids, how is it living here? How do you all live in an apartment? They told me that it's boring, so that's why they come out and hang around and do stuff. It's so boring. It's nothing for them to do in the high rise. Whereas I went downtown to high rise buildings where people live, black and white. They got a fitness center, they got a gymnasium, they got a pool that they can be in. But the high rises that are in our neighborhood, in Inglewood and over there in the Bronzeville community, they have nothing. So I myself wonder, how do parents raise their kids in those high-rise buildings? And at one time, my family lived in a high-rise building right there on Indiana, 60th and Indiana, for a month. As a 6-year-old child who was used to playing on the back porch of an apartment building or going downstairs shooting basketball, I barely made it through that summer of 1980 trying to find things to do in that high-rise building. You know what we did? We immediately went and started playing on the elevators. Even though the adults was checking us, when they weren't looking, we would still go play on those elevators. until one of them opened up and we didn't see an elevator. We saw a long, dark tunnel.
Uh-oh.
That shocked me. So I think the kids are boring and they don't have nothing to do that's living in those high-rises. That's probably what started a lot of the violence in the project. The projects can be in any high-rise building, and it can be in any low-rise.
Hey,
That's how the resource is navigated.
Brother Marcus.
Absolutely. And Martin, I just
Now, hold on, Erica. Let me say something. I stayed in the high rise. I stayed in 727 East 60th. That's right off Cottage Grove. We called it the Big Red Building. Actually, I stayed there for like 4 years, so I lived there. It was a decent high rise, though. It was decent. You know, the elevator wasn't smelly or nothing like that. It was decent. Okay, go ahead, Erica. And after you get through talking, I got another spin to this. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So actually, Marcus, what you just said is so on point and so profound and so much on track with research. I'm about to get smarty pants on y'all real quick. As you know, I graduated with honors, but in order to graduate with honors from college, you have to do an honors thesis, which includes research. So the thesis I chose was called Mixed Income Communities, Promise or Pitfall. And I had to do original research. It was like a 30-page thesis about different mixed income communities. And what I did was I compared one mixed income community in North Carolina to one in Chicago that was a high rise. The one in North Carolina was not a high rise. It was a community with homes, and it was successful. But the one in Chicago that was a high rise was unsuccessful, but they were both supposedly mixed income communities. So my research was to determine why the one in Chicago wasn't successful, but the one in North Carolina was. And you want to know something, Marcus, why you were so on point? One of the major reasons why the high rise in Chicago was not successful was because it was a high rise. Because what happens with a high rise community compared to North Carolina, where it was a bunch of houses, is that people have a tendency to go into the elevator, go to their floor, unlock their door, and go inside. That's it. There's no real community interaction. There's no meeting your neighbors. It is just like go to the house, go in the elevator, and go inside. And then, like you said, Marcus, there's no activities. Meanwhile, in the mixed income community in North Carolina that was successful, because they had land space and other space, they were able to have community cookouts. They were able to have like a little park area, a soccer field, like other things for the community to do. And that was what my research found, was that's why that one community was successful and the other wasn't. So you're absolutely right, Marcus.
Well, let me say this. I'm going to help y'all out a little bit. Now, even though I live in Robert Taylor, stuff like that, a lot of those projects, they had a lot of things to do. They had a park in front of there. They had, they used to have dance groups. And I mean, they did a lot of things in them projects. A lot of them just didn't stay in front of it, but they had a lot of activities going on in some of them projects. And I could say this about the projects. I had a relative that lived in, they were a family. If you live in a certain building, they all looked out for each other in those buildings. Now, I'm seriously. So I understand you had your gang problem, you had your drug problem, you had this building against that building, but they were a family. You can call it whatever you want, but they were a family. They knew each other. It was even to the point when those buildings came connected, they was drug connected. If they didn't know you, they would have to search you before you can come in some of them buildings. I'm seriously. They would search you. I know certain buildings, project buildings, where you couldn't come in there if they didn't know you. Trust me. I remember one time on the west side.
Yeah.
Hold on. I was on the west side and picking up one of my friends there on my Facebook too. And I didn't know that particular project, they was in war, right? So I pulled up in front of the project. I pulled up, man, here's this young teenager. The boy couldn't been no more than 11, 12. The gun looked so long, it looked longer than him. He walked up to the car. I turned on the interior light. I said, man, I'm waiting on somebody. I couldn't take off because if I took off, he probably would have started shooting. So I just say, hey, man, I'm waiting on somebody, man. And it was like, I seen it, it was like I seen it just like, because I didn't want to have to kill you, And it was like, it was some older guys was standing in front of the building, and they sent the young guy at me. This was many years ago, y'all, many years ago, even before I had children. So this is what it was like, man. I went on the west side. I was like, man, that was a close encounter, but and I didn't know what to do to take off or what. I just cut the interior light on again and just, I say, hey, bro, I'm waiting on somebody to come out. That's all I said in that voice. I didn't get tough. I seen that big long pistol. I mean, he didn't point at me, but he had it. So my thing is, project, those that lived in the housing, public housing, a lot of them was dedicated to each other, to their building and stuff like that. So they were like a family. You can say whatever you want about them, but they was like a family. I'm telling you, definitely like a family. So I want to talk about that. This is another thing what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the way we raise our children this day and age. And it's not necessarily talking about young teen parents, but parents, period. Just think about it. I've dated women, Marcus, and I ain't gonna lie, that I've heard them cuss their little babies out. Like, shut the F up. You know what I'm saying? You look like your goddamn daddy. You'll never be nothing. I mean, I've heard mothers talk down to their own children like that. Abuse. Now, just imagine this. Imagine this. You talk to your sons and your daughters from 1 or 2, 3 years old like that. By the time they get 10, 11, they used to that verbal abuse. They used to it. That's a lot of hate and a resentment built up in them. And that's why we have the problems. Then they used to seeing their parents bringing this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy in the house. They see that too. I'm going to tell you, a friend of mine, Erica and Marcus, I ain't going to say who he is, but still a friend of mine. He told me he do a lot of mentoring, right? He said one of his mentees came to him. He said, man, the young teenager told him, he said, man, my mama bust down. Man, I didn't know how to take that. He told my buddy that. And I was like, God, dog, somebody would say that about their own mother? My mother's a bust down. So my point is to saying this, Erica, to the parents. And I'm not just jumping on women, it's men too. Watch what you do and say in front of your children. Even when you're on a telephone, when you think they're not listening, they're listening. When you have that adult talk, you know what I'm saying? You can talk between each other's legs. That's what adults do. But you got to make sure your children are not listening. You saying those things. They're going to repeat it. And a lot of you parents, both males and females, you wouldn't believe the way your children carry on when you're not around. All that cussing. For those of you, and Marcus can witness what I'm saying, ride the red line, ride some of these bus lines, and hear something when these young people going to school in the morning, coming home like around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and listen to some of their conversation. Now, I ain't talking about adults. Go ahead, Marcus.
Just walk around the block, go to the store, go incognito, and listen to them talk. Oh, yeah, you're right. Ride the bus, listen to them talk. The way I was raised out of love. When you curse at your kids like that, it's something going on in your mind that maybe you love your kids, but you don't realize what you're doing to them. When you call them the N-word, the MF, and all of that, that's uncalled for. I don't ever remember my mother calling me a little black MF nigga or none of that, even when I didn't do right. She didn't call me those names. She gave me that look that every black mother has in their eyes that all right, it's time to chill out now. But you must not love your children when you talk to them like that.
Yeah.
And even teenagers, people think teenagers don't need that special attention or love. They still babies. But we look at them as being adults sometimes. They're not adults. They're still babies. And they are dealing with all types of issues. And you, as a parent, is the last person they need to have talking down to them.
Yeah.
Because what you say will decide what's going to happen.
And I want to say
It
this
might-
too. Let me say this, Marcus. I got to cut you off because what's coming to my mind. Mothers and fathers, y'all know I love you. And I'm going to tell you this. I know you trust your daughter and you trust your son. Why allow your teenagers to have a boyfriend or girlfriend and take them in a room and close the door? I trust my daughter. I know she ain't in there doing. You are setting your son and your daughter up for failure. That's what you're doing. Okay? Now, if you allow your young teenager to have a boyfriend or girlfriend, vice versa, I'm talking about male and female right now. That's what I'm talking about. Do not allow them to be in the room with the door closed. They shouldn't even be in the room. They should be in the front room sitting. So when you walk out of the room, you can see everything. That's where it should be. I'm telling you, young people have feelings. Young people are curious. They are. And I'm going to tell you, some of you young mothers and older mothers, you allow your daughters to walk around with that adult hair all the way down to your booty, and they crouch showing, all of the belly button showing, tattoos all on their neck. You are setting your daughter up for failure. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You got predators out here. Okay, I'll let you talk. You got predators out here that will pay your daughter's phone bill, will trick off with your daughter and do all that. And your daughter thinking she taking advantage of them, but reality, they're taking advantage of her. So I'm telling you, mothers, you better gain control of your household. Your daughters right here, they already overdeveloped. And I know they're beautiful, but guess what? Have them put some clothes on. I'm telling you, we have young ladies that's coming up missing. We got young ladies that are being sex trafficked. This is real. Now, I'm telling you, you got some young boys, their age, 16 to 17, they selling flesh. P-U-S-S-Y. That's what I want. That's what they selling. Let me be honest with you. They selling. They don't mind their girlfriend going out, tricking out, making money, and they come back, they pop pills and smoke weed. They don't mind. We live in a different generation. They don't mind sharing their girl. As long as they're getting paid, she bring the money back to the fold. Listen, I know y'all don't want to talk, but nobody wants to believe that their daughter is doing this or their son is doing this. So I ain't just trying to make women look bad or mothers look bad. It's the fathers too. Because some of the fathers, we need to get involved in our daughters' lives. Because trust me, these young girls, boys too, they doing some strange things for some change. Go ahead, Erica.
Yeah, so, and I don't mean to talk too much, Martin, but y'all did cover a lot of things, and I didn't get to really comment. But I wanted to comment on what you said, Martin, originally, because I never got to, about the projects and how you felt like it was like a family and stuff, and that young boy met you with a gun. Like, and I'll be honest, my research was not on projects and equally poor communities on mixed income, which is supposed to be a solution. Like, if you put middle class people or rich people and poor people in the same building or community, that'll help. That's what my research is on. So I'll admit that.
Okay.
But what you described with being met with a gun by an 11-year-old, that's more of a prison culture than it is a community. That's how a prison has family. But prisons aren't really the safest place that we consider, right? So there's something called, and y'all know I like to use vocabulary, comorbidity. Comorbidity. So that child to adult ratio that I mentioned earlier, the poverty, the stuff you and Marcus are talking about calling your children names, the generational degradation and stuff, that's called comorbidity when a whole bunch of factors merge together. But on to what Marcus said about the parents, and I think you said it too, Martin, talking down to their kids, cussing at their kids. And then Marcus was saying, when I was growing up, that wasn't how we treated each other. What I think folks need to understand, particularly of your age, and Marcus's age and maybe older, is that for my generation of millennials that are parents now, like I have a 3-year-old, and millennials like me, I'm old enough technically to have a teenager if I was a teen parent, but like at the same time, y'all gotta understand who our parents are. We are not that old. My generation is not that old. You know who our parents were? Our parents were the crack generation. When crack got dumped in our communities, that's when we were born. Okay, that's who raised us. So that calling your kid a bee and a hoe, and the verbal abuse and the stuff that maybe your generation thinks is unheard of or like not normal. Maybe spankings and beatings and whippings is normal for y'all, but that degradation, that verbal abuse, that vitriol, y'all got to understand that my generation of parents was raised by the crack generation that had drugs dumped in their community. So you had crackheads and people addicted to drugs raising my generation of parents. I don't really see anything a parent does today that you cannot connect to the parent they had. There is nothing a parent does today, in my opinion, for the most part, that they just came up with in their mind that was not modeled for them as a child. So whatever you see them doing, somebody modeled that to them as a child. And for my generation, that was the crack era that raised us. When our communities got the most toxic, full of addicted parents and all types of mental illness that wasn't addressed. So, like, I think we need to track it that way. And then what you said, Martin, about the girls, the young girls, and it's true. Like,
well,
with the fathers, like, I know.
Let me help you out, Erica. You can't tell us about our generation. We already know. Trust me. I live that crack experience. I never used crack, but I sold it and I lived it. And I've seen, now I'm going to just say, every young person that was born during that crack era wasn't on crack or their parents wasn't on crack. You had some parents sold crack. So I always tell people, you may not think the person that's selling crack wasn't as bad as the one using. Yes, you are. You're bad because it took away a lot of skills from you. You didn't want to go to work and you relied on selling drugs. And a lot of us got felons right now that's following us right now to this day for selling crack in our own community. It was so, listen, we were selling, well, they were selling crack when they got, I didn't sell it until I got grown. They were selling crack when they was in their teenagers years, because crack, you were at 15, 14, 15, you would sell crack. You would go out there and get an 8-ball, flip it, double your money. Seriously, it just went just like that. And at that time, you would have grown women will have sex with teenagers for one bag of crack. So it was just that terrible, people. It was real terrible. I mean, it was violent. People was running off with money, stealing from the refrigerator. Then you have people was being in crack houses for 3 or 4 days and stuff like that. I know this young lady right now. I know she had about 8 babies. I don't think she had none of her babies, but she was messed up on that beautiful young lady. But that crack had got her gone. And it always started off with weed. Weed, then they get to lacing their weed or lacing their cigarettes. Then before you know it, they hitting that pipe. And, listen, people, listen, it's a terrible sight to see. A pregnant woman on drugs, people. That is a terrible sight to see. I've seen, listen, if a woman came to me and I know she was pregnant, I wouldn't sell her nothing. I couldn't do it. I still hit hard, even though that was mean. I was mean, but some things I still hit guardrails in my life. What I ain't finna sell no crack to no pregnant young woman. I wasn't gonna do that. I've seen women that I went to school with messed up on crack, prostituting. I mean, it devastated Eric, the community. I mean, I lived through it. I lived through it. I saw it firsthand.
You're right, Martin. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And while you may not have done it and wanting to sell to a pregnant woman, then she could get it from the next one who would, unfortunately, and still get the drugs. Yeah. And then, like what you just mentioned about growing up seeing it, like you kind of said, my generation, I was born in that time, talking about us being 2-year-olds. 3-year-old
Yeah.
at most.
But
Like,
see,
we talking about we
but
babies,
Erica,
if not even born yet.
Erica, a lot of y'all parents ain't gonna tell you they was on crack. See, that's the thing. I know your parents are religious, but I'm just saying, most of these young people that's in their 30s right now, late 20s, 30s, that your parents not gonna tell you they was getting high. That's something that parents don't discuss with their children. They don't tell that. That's like a dark secret. And I'm going to tell you some of this. Some of y'all, listen, I got to say it. I know y'all saying I'm being vulgar on this line, but some of y'all was born trick babies. A trick baby is you don't know who your father is because your mother was having sex with different men, unprotected sex. Really know who. And so a lot of y'all young people, you grow up being bitter at men because you don't know who your father is. Your mother lied to you and say, hey, such your father on the way in. I ain't heard from him. But I'm going to tell you, if y'all dig deep and trying to find your father, trust me, you might stop speaking to your mama if you find out what the truth is. Because there's a lot of family secrets.
Yeah.
I got another caller, 1823. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to let you come in, 1823. Listen, I'm telling you, it was a lot of babies being made during the crack epidemic. A lot of babies. And a lot of sexual...
and my real quick,
hold on, Erica.
Caller, I want to say something real quick.
No, Erica, hold it. You on here. Come on, 1823. Go ahead. 1823, go ahead.
Mark, hey, this is Felicia.
Hey, Felicia.
Felicia Kimber.
Hey.
Hey, I've been listening on the conversation to you and Erica, and both of y'all are like hitting right on the head. And what's very interesting, you always say tell the truth or shame the devil, right?
That's right.
It makes me think that I was born in 1987.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to take a lot of time, so I'm going to go fast.
Okay, go ahead.
I was raised above Fletcher's Record Shop on 87th and Ashland, across the street where the lottery pot used to be. And my father worked at a soul food restaurant, and both of them was on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and my dad. But what saved me was my grandmother taking custody of me. But we could not expect the trauma because it was generational curses. So even though I escaped the issue of having drug addicted parents, I still had to deal with the conservative Black folks that thought less of the country Black folks. So you cannot escape dysfunction no matter whether you come from drug addicted parents or whether you come from Catholic Black folks just trying to get a piece of the pie and make it work. And one of the things I realized that I had spent the last 15 years trying to heal my inner child. So when I hear you speak on the airwaves and Erica speak on the airwaves, it resonates and it brings me to the now that there's a lot of women like me at 36, 35 years old with children, and we are healing our inner child. And when you and Erica want to make sure that Black people are accounted for on the airway, it's very important that all of our stories are accounted for because there's a running constant, and that is white supremacy. You cannot escape the disease of white supremacy, whether you come from drug-addicted parents or whether you come from conservative Black folks, that there was a mind state established where you had to either work as hard or you had to deal with more because you was Black. How can we pass down something healthy to our children when we don't want to teach them? Well, we try to teach them that everybody is equal, and despite what you see, that there are allies out there, that we have to run a very narrow community. Like, how do we get to the now? When Johnson got elected for mayor in Chicago, and it was your radio station, your podcast that really, along with so many others, accelerate his election.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be recognized when these people are elected with your hard work and us agreeing with you, and people like Erica? The guy that was running against Johnson called Erica a Florida plant. He went on against us, and I see Black people split apart. Like, I'm like, this brother sold his ticket for a 2-piece dinner at Harold's, and we talking about crack in the 80s. Like, the real problem is that we're not sticking together and we're not honest about our trauma. Like, can we have a safe space? You know, I got an 18, 19, and a 14-year-old, and they're all never been locked up, never been in trouble, and I've been homeless. I was homeless on the street at 14. There are good Black people out here that's guided by their morality and God, that's listening to y'all.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
That when we have these conversations, you know, like, I appreciate that.
Keep talking, Felicia. Mm-hmm.
So these things that you bring up, you and a couple other people on the Chicago Airways was like, oh, this is what's going on in the hood, and this is the crimes that's going on. And we had Black lawyers coming into our hood the day after a crime, talking about how they're going to solve it, what they're going to do. And I'm like, wow, they don't do this in the white neighborhood. They was basically letting the killer know on TV what their next move was in the Black neighborhood, while their crimes are being investigated on the federal level immediately. So I think that whoever's listening, even the elected officials that try to get elected, that there's strength in numbers, that we have to make sure that we are looking out for each other, listening to each other, taking care of each other, because you don't know everybody's story.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, you know, Erica, you and all the guests that's listening, I appreciate the input, but there's something here that you're doing that's worthwhile. And as long as you don't sell it to the highest bidder or anybody else, it's going to keep on rolling bigger.
Mm-hmm. And let me say this, Felicia.
Yeah.
Let me say this, Felicia. You're correct. And that's why I call this live, uncut, unedited. That's why I make statements like tell the truth and shame the devil. Because for so many years, we live in denial. We live in denial. We don't want to face our truth, you know. And what made me turn my life around was I poisoned the community. And I was like, man, I did so much damage. In 5 years, I dedicated 5 years of my life selling drugs in the community. Selling drugs. I mean, just imagine all the families that I wrecked, destroyed, and, you know, all that blood money and all the spirits and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, you don't look at it that way until your empire come caving down. Now, as long as you making that fast money and all that, I mean, it look good. You got the women, you got the cars, you got the jewelry, you got the clothes, you got anything financial, you got it. I mean, you got people running up to you, man, thanking you, shaking your hand. Can I wash your clothes? Can I wash your car? Can you look out for me, man? I'm hungry. Look out for me, put me on my feet. I mean, it makes you, when you in that life, it make you feel like you God. You invisible. And it was to a point where I was like, man, I don't never want to be broke. I said, before I go broke, I'd rather somebody kill me and take me out. That was my mentality in selling drugs. I'm telling you, listen, when drug dealers fall off, man, you go into a deep depression. You ain't got the fast cars. You ain't got all the friends. You ain't got all the women, the jewelry, and all that falls off. And see, listen, when you do things like that, it destroys your community. It messes up your mind. You have to, when I had to go back to work, people, after selling drugs, I had to recondition my mind. I'm like, man, what I'm making in 2 weeks, I made in 1 day profit. And you listen to the boss, the moment the boss talk crazy to you, you got to humble yourself. You got to have a new mindset. Humble yourself. And I did that.
I that way too.
Yeah. What you say, Felicia?
I said I felt that way too. But then when I see that they legalize marijuana and they legalize cannabis, that I got brothers and cousins that spent decades of their life in jail for a plant. And this was when people was growing and this was when it was pure. So you mean to tell me that they were listed as drug dealers and this was a medical plant? So you selling crack was a different thing with fast money. I didn't have the wherewithal to be up 4 a.m. serving folks, but I was serving weed at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you mean to tell me that there's people in our neighborhood that they made $70.5 million, and we still got people sitting in jail cells.
Mm-hmm.
And the cannabis that they selling in these dispensaries have genetics to them that are destroying the DNA and the fertility of men and women. But the brothers that were selling the real shit, they in prison still.
Mm-hmm.
Martin, and I just wanted to also comment if I can.
Go ahead.
So, I just want to address the comment section and stuff. So, Diane Gaines.
Oh, girl, don't be worried about them people. Go ahead.
Erica,
no. Don't.
I'm gonna
Erica,
just say something.
Go ahead. Don't worry about what them people say.
I got something to say, Martin, that needs to be addressed. So, who said that I talk too much? Let me tell y'all something. I know a bunch of y'all that Diane that said that. Those who thought that was a funny comment, who liked it. Y'all probably think y'all better than the black parents who cuss out their kids and do all this stuff. But you're actually not no better. Why don't you tell you why you're not no better? I'm an educated young black woman who had a very great father, strong father, who taught me that my mind was much better to use than my body. And so I use my voice, I use my intelligence. And meanwhile, there's black people like you, older black people like you, who tell women like me, young women like me, that we talk too much. When we have intelligence and we decide to use our brains instead of our bodies. And you want to know who hears y'all say that ignorant stuff? Other young black girls hear y'all. And I mentor these young girls. I speak to these young girls. That's the work I do. And when I get in a room with them and try to get them to talk on intelligent subjects and educational subjects, they don't got nothing to say. I got to literally draw them out to understand that they have a freaking voice. And you want to know why these young black girls don't know how to speak the hell up? It's because they was raised around people like y'all who they watch tell black women like me to shut up instead of encouraging us. Instead of encouraging us, you go, girl, be intelligent. Use your mind, girl, not your body. Y'all are a part of the goddamn problem. And secondly, the reason why I bring up history is because if we don't know our history and how we got to this place as black people, then the only logical conclusion, which is what white supremacy wants us to have, is that this is only happening because we're black. That this is only happening because we are morally and inherently inferior. And there's just something wrong with us because we got black skin. So that's why we got to know our history. That's why we got to know that Martin, even though he feels bad for what he did, and it makes sense, and it was definitely a horrible thing to sell drugs like that to the community. Martin ain't cook them drugs. Martin ain't grow them drugs. The black community don't produce the drugs that came into our community. We don't got helicopters and planes and boats. But what the white supremacist system wants us to believe is that we created all this because we're black, inferior, and we ain't nothing. So that's why you got to know your history. That's why I bring up history, not because we don't need to address now, but because while we're addressing now, I absolutely refuse for us to come to the conclusion that this is happening because there's something wrong with our freaking skin.
All right, Mama Erica. All right.
That's what I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Erica, you don't have to address them comments. You got to have tough skin. You got to have tough skin. People, they talk about me every day.
I do
They've been
got
doing
tough
it. You
skin, baby,
just,
but I got a tough mind.
Eh.
I got a tough mind and a
Eh.
tough mouth. So if you got something to say, guess what? I'm gonna address it because it needed to be addressed, Martin. That's a part of the
I
problem.
know.
Stop
I know.
telling smart and intelligent black kids, especially smart and intelligent black girls,
Can I say
to
something?
shut
Yeah.
up.
Okay, Erica,
Stop
let
doing
Marcus
that.
talk. Let Marcus talk. We don't want to flip the. Come on, Marcus. Hold on, Felicia. Come on, Marcus. Come on.
Erica, I know you upset. Believe me, somebody said something about me. They said that I don't ever say nothing good about black youth. And I went on Martin's show. Martin did a special live in the day. I went on his show and got my anger out. But one of the things I looked at myself, I said, I don't need to be reading them comments. I'm talking to them from the phone. That's it. When it's show off, I don't even look at the comments. Because if you continue to look at these comments, they will upset you, take you out of your character. And that's what some people want to do, take you out of your character. And you're not going to change what they think about you. They say I'm gay because I shoot male models. But if I used to argue with them on Facebook a lot, but it was a waste of time arguing with people who are ignorant, who want to believe what they want to believe and perceive what they want to perceive the way they see you. You can't change that, but fight them with your intelligence by not addressing it. It's hard to do. Trust me, it's hard to do because you're saying to yourself, who is this person? Who the hell they think they is? You got to say something. We all want to win the argument, but you cannot win an argument with people who just want to take you out of your character and cause you to lose focus on what you're doing. Continue to call in here. Continue to talk. This is Martin's show. If he want to let you talk for 2 hours, he can let you talk for 2 hours. No one has the right to question it. Now, getting back to the topic, I think that people say that I talk like I got an old soul. It's because I had the desire in me to want to do right, and I listened to older people. Not only did I listen to my mother, my auntie, and other men in my family, but I listened to older people, that village, those older people that was in the neighborhood who, when I looked like I was getting ready to go in the wrong direction, and I see them, I didn't want them to have another opinion about me. So I would straighten up and do right. I think what older people need to do is start giving these young black kids good compliments when they are doing good, when they are coming out the house, when they are doing something decent. You should compliment them. And when they're on the path of going in that wrong direction, you should show them a better path to go down, because it's a lot of older people who have misguided these young people. And they didn't just come here wanting to do these things. And it was white supremacy who put the drugs in our community to neutralize the black community, because they were afraid of the Black Panthers. They saw the power of the civil rights movement, and they knew that if they didn't do something to neutralize us, they would lose their position over us. So they put drugs in our community. They took jobs. They closed down all the factories that would hire us. They took away the resources. And Martin, you were forced to go out there on that street. It could have been me if I didn't have nothing else to preoccupy my mind, but I was the type of kid who just didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to do that. I wasn't hung up on the fancy jewelry and all that, the shoes and all that. I mean, everybody didn't have that mindset, but you were forced to go out there to do that. Through the power of white supremacy, they put the crack in the community to do one thing. Look what it has done. And now these kids it's still going on. They're on all type of drugs. And it's easy for them to get.
Felicia,
That's right.
Felicia,
Marcus, I wanna thank you, Marcus.
I just
hold on, Erica. You let Felicia talk. Go ahead. You good? Come on. We gotta stay on the topic. Go ahead, Felicia. Go ahead, Felicia.
I heard the conversation taking place, and we have to ignore the power of suggestion. you know, the older lady online that wrote something, Erica responded to, and what Marcus is talking about now to get us back on track, there's one running constant to that. That when we hear something compelling, that our demons kind of stand up and try to suggest to us that because this person is saying this, what you believe or what you have done is invalid. The power of suggestion is a spirit. It's not just a voice. And listening to what Marcus is talking about is this ageism is the Willie Lynch. We've been talking about the same thing in different cases based around the same literature, and that's the Willie Lynch. And also generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
So just like Marcus said that he was influenced by an older crowd, I was too, but it was none of my own blood. There were men that said, hey, you better go back to school. I want to sell weed, and they snatched me up by the back of my shirt, and the security guard outside like, hey, she go to Calumet, and I'm back in the building. So there's situations that we all have to be thankful of our own community. But when we online and talking to each other, we tend to like pour out our souls in a way where we forget of that thankfulness.
Hello?
That's right.
Yeah.
And can I say something?
Yeah.
She's still talking, Erica. Felicia, you still talking?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's also a delay, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay. Go ahead, Felicia.
So this Willie Lynch letter, this old against the young, this women against the men, whenever I speak something powerful, there tends to be unhealed older women that want to take us out. Anybody that's unhealed, these are all the serpents. When somebody's speaking their truth online, it is not a suggestion that your truth is less. That's just your brokenness responding to truth.
Okay.
We have to get there with each other. Yeah, people say stuff online, and I have felt dead wrong at a point in my life. And it's easier to touch my thumb to a screen and respond than to sit and think about myself.
Okay. Well, let me just let me say something, Felicia, too. Now, when you guys come on this line and talk, Erica, Marcus, Felicia, even myself, it's always going to be somebody that don't agree with what we say. And we might be 100% right. We might be 100% wrong. They probably just don't like us just because. Or they might just get on this platform for entertainment. I don't know. I mean, a lot of you guys, I just met you online. We don't really know each other that way, but it comes with the territory. When you try to help, people they're going to lash at you. And it's tough. And I tell people, if you want to call in and say something. Help us out. We're looking for ideas and solutions. I'm always looking for ideas and solutions. A lot of times I like to listen. I'm a great listener. I can listen. I just want everybody to get a fair share to talk, to speak. That's all I want. We got a new call on here. Eric, you want to go before this new caller or what?
Yes, please.
Come on,
I
real quick. Let me just go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I want to say real quick, Martin, is that, and Marcus, thank you so much for what you said as well, and Felicia as well. But like Martin, there's times when people have, not all the time, there's times when people have made comments on the comment section and you have addressed it.
Yeah, I have. Every now and then.
So please believe.
Yeah.
So
they're
please
white supremacists.
what I addressed. Yeah. So please, like, even when they say you in this for the money or whatever,
right,
you addressed it. But like, my thing is that what I address for a reason. Because let me tell y'all something. I do political education with both white communities, black communities, hood, everywhere. When I go with them white kids and I put a poster board up that says white supremacy on it, and it says gun violence, do you know that I have to literally calm these white kids down, these white girls and white boys down, because they all got something to say. They got so much to say that I got to keep them together. Okay, you first, you second, you third. But then I go to the same hoods where y'all children come from that told me to shut up, that deal with this every day, and they don't got nothing to say. Martin, do you know what I would give to be in a room full of black girls where they talk too much, where somebody can say they talk too much about real issues? Do you know how much I would give for that?
Yeah.
But you know why they don't talk too much? It's because they raised by black people who they watch demean educated young black women and black people who do have something to say. They hear what y'all say. They think there's something wrong with it. You are being a part of the problem, and that's why I addressed it, Martin. Because the kids are hearing this. I deal with these kids every day, Martin. The kids are hearing your negativity.
Erica, we got to move on.
Educated, intelligent young black people.
We got to move on. Okay, let me go to this new caller. All right. 8966. Come on, caller. 8966. 8966. Turn your Facebook down, too. 8966. Caller. 8966.
Hello.
Yeah, make sure you turn your Facebook down because I heard some noise in your background.
Ain't no Facebook.
Okay, well,
Ain't no Facebook.
Okay, come on with it.
Okay, I was calling. I see you having a lot of people doing a lot of that cussing on here. How they supposed to be on one page to get something done. You can't, like she say, young people is on here listening to it, but listen to how she's talking. She's cussing. And you ain't say nothing, man. I'm looking dead at it. I commented on it.
I seen it. I seen the cussing. I seen it. Heard it too. Heard
it's all about respect. It's all about respect. How we gonna get them on the right page? And then sometimes you have to listen to what older people say. Older people will lead you the right way. They ain't gonna lead you the wrong way. Some older people.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
But y'all need to stay on the topic. That's what the topic is.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all jump into too many too many things.
Yeah, we always have distractions. It's always this distraction. We got to get back focused, really back in. Yeah.
Yes, because it's just as well as I'm looking, like she say, young other people looking too.
Okay.
And it's like we trying to find a solution for what's going on with these young people, because it's a lot of these young people. Look at that 16-year-old boy got killed today. See what I'm saying? What is the solution for that?
Mm-hmm.
Could you answer that, Clark? Could you answer that? What's the solution?
I don't think none of us got that solution to these people killing each other. We just, man, we dealing with a lot. I tell you that.
Man.
Yeah, no,
this is a lot.
Yeah, we're dealing with a lot with white supremacy. We all don't have the answers, and I know. Listen,
one solution.
Yeah, there's no one solution, Marcus. There's no one solution. There's many solutions and stuff like that, man. And we're dealing with a generation of young people that hate each other, view each other as opposition. They're taunting each other on Facebook. They lip boxing. They're taunting each other on social media through songs, through music, and it's a lot of stuff that's going on. And we need some help, people. We need some help. But I'll tell you this, people. Let me say y'all that I'll tell you this. Now, there's a lot of people watching this live. Some, you may look at the numbers. The numbers don't reflect the people watching. And there's a lot of white folks that don't know nothing about black people, they love this conversation. Not because there's a bunch of confusion, because they're learning. They're learning. Because you have a lot of white people that's ignorant about black people. You know, they all group us up. If one person, one black youth go and shoot another black youth, they assuming that we all do that, and that's not the case. I had a white man tell me, I know him personally, say, hey, Martin, say, hey, what's going on? I saw you on the news. And immediately, you know what I said out of my mouth? Y'all finna laugh. I said, was I breaking out any windows? Jumping up on any cars, anything? He said, oh, no, you weren't doing none of that. But I knew what he was talking about, seeing me on the news. But I said that to say that, let them know we all are not doing these things that what you guys see in the media. That's the reason why I said that when they see me on the news. Because more likely when you see a person on the news, they done shot somebody, they done killed somebody, or they're a victim, or they got robbed or something. It's always something sad. We need to see some good stuff about us. It's always something sad.
That's right.
Yeah, so people, we listen,
right.
and we got to admit, Marcus, we got to admit, Erica, we got to admit, Lisa, we got to admit that we got a problem. We got a gun problem in our community amongst our young people. We got a drug problem. Our young people are hooked on drugs, and I ain't talking about just no weed. They doing a lot of other things outside of weed. I'm talking about young addicts, young addicts. We got mental health issues in our community. We have these problems, people. We have a parenting problem, not just the mothers, the fathers as well, in our community, people. And we have to admit to these things. We have to, we won't admit them though. Hold on, Erica. We parents, including myself, we can always point out other people's children or teenagers, what they're doing. But what are our teenagers doing? What are we doing about our teenagers? I know of parents.
That's right.
That turn a blind eye of their young sons and daughters' wrongdoing. But they'll see the neighbor sneaking in girls in the house and all that. They see all that, but they can't see it when they come to their house. See, when are we as a community going to admit that we have a problem with these drugs and bad parenting and guns? And we got to admit that. And once we acknowledge that we got a problem, then I believe that we can come up with a real solutions to help our young people. Marcus, I need to hear from you. Marcus.
You're right. You're right. You have to admit that you got cancer in order for the doctor to treat it. You have to be able to tell the doctor where the pain is at. He don't or she don't know where the pain is at if you don't open up your mouth and tell them where the pain is at. If it's in your heart, you got to talk to somebody. You got to go see a counselor and talk to somebody. So we have to admit that we have a problem and we have to accept accountability and deal with that problem. It's many solutions to this problem. And believe it or not, as far off as this may seem, these problems can be fixed at the blink of an eye. We just have to admit that we have a problem and start working on it. Instead of competing against each other, we need to work together. I can take you to the Bible, Nehemiah, the 3rd chapter. Nehemiah was concerned about his people, that he was depressed, but then he had a prayer, he had a talk with God. He went before the king. He told the king that he wanted to go back and rebuild Jerusalem. And he built the wall. The people came together. He met with all the high priests of the day and the Lord to the Lord. And they all agreed that they had a problem. The walls of the city was down. Now they came up with a plan to rebuild and to keep the enemy out. The enemy laughed at them. These feeble Jews, what are they doing? Until they saw that wall go up and reality set in. Oh, they done rebuilt their nation. And they tried to distract them. They kept at it. They had their sword in one hand and they kept working. They had their tool in the other hand. We have got to admit that we have a problem, and we got to deal with that problem, and we'll come up with a solution that will shape this country and shape this world.
New caller.
Ooh,
New caller.
yes.
New
Yes.
caller. New caller. 7365. New caller. You're live, uncut, unedited. New caller.
Hey, Martin, this is Steve, South Holland.
Hey, Steve, what's going on? Steve always be to the point. Come on,
How
Steve.
you doing?
I'm good, good. Come on, talk to us. You always get to the point. Go ahead.
Yeah, so all I want to say is, about our children.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to tell you a little bit of story. When I was growing up as a kid, even before I became a teenager, before I got into high school, I always got sent to summer camp every summer. And that's what these young parents and even parents, period, need to look up, need to do some research on maybe send their kids to a summer camp or somewhere like I did when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
This will keep some of these kids off these streets, and especially in this summertime coming up. They need to check on these summer camps because there are some of these parents that maybe don't know anything about summer camps or anything. They need to look into those. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Erica, go ahead.
I guess I wanted to, Martin.
Stay on topic now. I don't want to hear about nobody in the message box now. Go ahead. Lead them, let them keep talk what they want to talk. Okay.
Martin.
All right.
They can talk if they want to talk. I'm gonna stay on this topic that brought that conversation up. But here's the thing: you got an open line, Martin, right? You got 2 phone numbers that you can call if you got something to say. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Here's the thing: Erica don't talk too much. Y'all talk too little. Spectators.
There you go, Erica. Erica, stay
Martin's
on.
fine to
Eric,
be-
don't please,
Martin's
Erica.
fine to
Eric,
jam.
Erica. Stay
You already
on
know I'm
topic.
coming back.
Erica.
I'm on topic.
No, you're not, Erica. You're addressing these people. Don't do that. Just stay with it, Erica. Just make your comment. You're a young person. Don't worry about what they think and all that. Just Erica, because see, you're going to make it. This is what you're going to make it out to be. You're going to make it us against we. You know what I'm saying? We don't want that. The young people gets open. We don't want that. We don't want that. We got to work together. I know we're in 2 different levels of thinking and things, but we have to work together. We need you just as much as you need
It's
us.
not us against we, Martin.
Yeah, but
it's
this
just,
is where you.
wait, y'all, I just saw somebody just said, let's ask the young people what they need. Let's ask the young people what they want. Is this what y'all gonna do? Is this what y'all gonna do when the young people tell you how you obstruct them? Is this how y'all gonna act? Y'all gonna tell us to behave and be quiet? Is this how y'all gonna be? Because then don't ask. Let
Erica,
us speak.
Erica.
Let us say
Erica,
what has been
listen,
buried
first of
for
all,
us.
you're not responding to the message box. You're responding to me, the topic that we're talking about. So I'm controlling this, okay? So what they say really doesn't matter. What I'm saying, it really matters, okay? So Erica, if you're going to continue to read this thing, you're going to change the conversation. I'm not trying to get off topic. I'm trying to stay on this topic.
I'm not off topic,
Okay.
Martin. Best believe I'm not off topic. But if
Okay.
you would let me finish, I promise you I'm on topic.
But hurry up. All right.
Like what the topic that I'm on right now is what like you were talking about what to do with the youth, right? That's the
Okay.
topic. Ain't that the topic?
Yeah.
Okay. And we were talking about the way we're raised. We were talking about the way young girls are raised, young boys are raised. And I could just say real briefly, like my dad, my Black American father, not my Caribbean side, this was my Black daddy. He told me that, he said, when you was born and I held you in my arms, I knew you was going to be, number one, small, probably for the rest of your life. He was right. I'm only 5'1". He said, I knew you was going to be Black, and I knew you was going to be a girl. And he said, I never wanted those 3 things, the fact he was little, Black, and a girl, to make you feel like your voice didn't matter. So my dad, my Black father, just like the Black men on this line, not my Caribbean side, my Black American side, he taught me how to speak up, even to him. Even when I was nervous, when I was 5 years old, he would make me debate him on political topics at 5. And one day I said, Daddy, why did you do that? Why did you make me speak up and look? He always say, look me in the eye when you say it. And that's what he told me. He said, because he knew I would be a small Black woman and that people would not like it if I had a voice. And that is how you teach your daughters not to use their body over their brain. But you know what? That's what makes you call into a show. That's what makes you have a voice being heard. That's what makes a young woman not feel like her body is her only real attribute. So I am on topic. But I just want to know, my father was also right about the fact that people wouldn't like it. He was absolutely right. But it's just very disheartening when those people are my own people who so-called want a solution for the youth. The very young girls who don't feel like they have nothing to offer but they developing body instead of their developing minds. So I am on topic.
Mhm.
And it needs to stop.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you, Erica. 8966, you want to say something? 8966. Did you want to say anything?
Mike, you know what? I'm done with it.
Oh.
I'm done with it.
Okay. I just wanted to
She
acknowledge. I
gonna
know
steady speak how she feel. I'm done with it.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's get back to the topic at hand. All that. And we're talking about teenagers, okay? We're not talking about adults. You know, that's what we're talking about, teenagers, little teenagers. And as I said earlier, we do have a problem, and we have to acknowledge that. We really have to acknowledge that. Most parents get mad when I talk about the video game because the video game is a form of a babysitter. They allow them to play the video games, unsupervised, them killing games. Then they allow them to play any type of worldly music. We call it drill music. For those that don't know what drill music is, sex, murder, killing, all types of things, all types of ungodly things that go on that have a nice beat to it and probably have a nice story behind the storyline as well. But we have to be careful of our intake, what we're taking in. Even I'm the crime chaser. I have to be careful what scenes I go to and what I really watch with my eyes. It's a lot of things that I see on crime scenes that I don't show. So that's another thing. We have to be careful, people. Really have to be careful. As I said in a statement the other day, that our words, our negative words, can't leave scars on our bodies, but they can leave scars for a lifetime on our minds. So we have to be careful what we say, people, how we treat people. We have to be real cautious of our words. You know, we used to sing that song, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, I wish that was true. Words do hurt. Words really hurt. They really hurt. And they hurt me. They hurt all of us. I haven't got, my skin ain't that tough where it won't hurt, but I know how to brush it off and just keep going, keep moving. So our young people, it's getting ready to get warm, people. And right now, I know our young people are planning their next move. Now, they know we on to them, but they planning the next move. And I guarantee you, their next move is going to be spare the moment. And we're going to have to be on point to interrupt it, to stop it. Again, I want some of you be careful what you say about young people, because you do have young people watch this program and they're listening. Trust me, they're listening. And I don't want a young person come on here and say that them old folks, they hate young people. They hate us. They hate us. And we can't expect, Marcus and Erica, that young people are going to carry on like us adults. You know, Erica, I call you middle age. I got another call. I'm going to let this another caller come in. I see it coming in, 4128. let them hear the prompts. So I got a teenager, and I tell you, she keep her eyes glued inside that cell phone. Matter of fact, I got a phone to give her now. I got to get it and charge it up for her. Yeah. So they want this phone, but I told her, you got to have good grades to get this phone from me. I don't play them games. I don't reward negative behavior. But anyway, 4128. Come on, what you got to say?
Hey, Martin, what up?
Hey,
Coach.
how you doing, Coach?
I just want to say,
Go ahead.
I just want to say some programs because people in the comments asking about programs out there for the youth. So you have the Chicago Park District started the application process already for anybody from the age of 6 to 18 that want to be in a program. And you could work. You could actually, if you have teenagers from 13 to 21, well, 21 ain't no teenager than adult, but 13 to 21, you can work at the Chicago Park District with the kids.
You said what ages again?
13 to 21.
13 to 21, okay.
You go to the Chicago Park District at www.chicagoparkdistrict.com and then apply. It's the closest park to you. It could be the closest park you got. Ogden, Washington. Well, Washington caught on fire, so Washington closed this summer.
What's the pay on that too? So we know.
Hold on, give me 1 second. I just saw it. So for a rec leader, it would be $16.25.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now,
also, is baseball leagues that you can get in with the Chicago Park District. I don't know if anybody that lives out west, but Garfield Park about to start the West Side baseball league, which is like Franklin Park, Garfield, LaFolly Park in it, Kales Park. There's a lot of parks on the West Side that's going to be participating in the West Side baseball league.
Okay. Okay. So 13 to what? 13 to what age?
21.
13 to 21. Okay.
To be a rec leader.
Okay. Now, where do they go, to the site or to the actual park district, or do they go to the park district site?
Chicago Park District, www.chicagoparkdistrict.com.
Okay. Okay. Now.
And then it's going to say apply for summer jobs. And there's going to be a list of jobs that you could apply for.
Okay. Okay. So this is good now, parents. Those of you that have teenagers that's in the city, the Park District is hiring for young people. He said from ages 13 to 21, right? I want to make sure I get it right.
Yep.
13 to 21. So, hey, let's get busy. Start the process right now because school's going to end shortly. Start that process. I'm quite sure that your young teenager can use some extra money. Mm-hmm.
And Martin.
Yes, go ahead, Marcus.
You know, I used to work for the Park District too.
Yes.
I still got contacts.
Okay.
Ogden Park is a great park to enroll your kids in. Another park is Robichaud over here on 92nd in Eggleston. It's a great park. And then you have Fernwood on 104th and Wallace. They have indoor swimming pool. They have all type of programs. Parents need to utilize these services. They're right there. And the Park District pays good for young people. So that's a start. Teenagers. But Perry Jackson is my contact at Robichaud. He's the instructor. So if you want to know more about his program, go over to 92nd and Eggleston, Robichaud Park. Ask for Perry Jackson or ask for the supervisor, and they have a list of programs for them to get into. They can sign up right there.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Anything else, Sarge? I mean, Coach. Coach.
McDonald's also have open jobs. McDonald's also have open job interviews every Tuesday from 2 to 4.
Okay, which McDonald's? Any McDonald's, or you got to give us some names?
So the ones I know so far, if you live on the west side, the one on Roosevelt and Kinsey, the one on Chicago Avenue, Laramie, North Avenue, Laramie, them the ones on the west side. And the only one I know out south is the one on 69th off the Dan Ryan.
Right. Okay. All right. So this is some good information, people. So it did work out after all. We got off a little bit, but we back on. We giving information for the parents that you can relay to your teens.
Ryan, can I also bring up two other opportunities?
Yeah, okay, hold on. As soon as he's done, then you can go, Erica. Go ahead, bro, Coach.
Okay.
Also, with the Chicago Garfield Park on the Chicago West Side, they actually train the kids how to be umpires. So, if you go up there and say you want to be an umpire, they pay you too. They pay you $50 a game. They train you to be an umpire. They season start right after school.
Okay, wow. You got to give us that information too as well.
Okay, I'm gonna drop it in the chat.
Okay, drop it in chat. That'd be great. Okay, Erica, give us some information that you have.
Yeah, so there's two organizations that I work with that are really great if you have teens or young adults. One is the Brave Youth, St. Sabina, that I work directly with, as well as Good Kids Mad City.
Okay.
These two organizations actually help teach youth how to become a part of the solution. So they get political education. They learn how to do service to the community. So that's like food drives, diaper drives, like the actual hands-on things to help the community. So they learn how to serve, but they also learn how to do legislative work, changing the laws that affect them, planning summer events. And because they're young people themselves, they have a much closer connection to the youth out here that are maybe causing the problem than some of us that are older do. And they're able to help create really great solutions. So that's Good Kids Mad City and Brave Youth of St. Sabina. They're currently working with the mayor on some really great legislation. Good Kids Mad City created a legislation called the Peace Book. It is revolutionary and unprecedented. It is a youth-led piece of legislation about how we can actually solve this problem based on the voice of youth. It is very powerful. And Brandon Johnson has now supported it, and it's going to start getting implemented. It has tons of programs in it and implementation in it and solutions in it. So if your kids are interested, please get them involved in that. And my message is to the young people, if there are any listening that are younger than me, be a young person that talks too much.
Erica,
please
I don't
be a
consider
young person that talks too much.
Erica, I don't consider you. Erica, I don't consider you as young like that. You're a full-grown adult. You're 36 years old. So I don't consider you as being a teeny bopper. Not me. I don't look at you like that. I mean, I'm older than you are. I'm old enough to be your father, but I don't look at you as Erica being super young. I don't do that. I don't know how they view you on here.
No. Well, here's the thing, Mike. Like I said,
Okay.
you're older enough to be my father.
Yes.
And there's people on here old enough to be my father. And if you don't think, and I don't look my age, I look like I'm in my 20s. So if you don't think I deal with discrimination because I look young, I sound young, I'm old enough to be a lot of people's kids. If you don't think I deal with people looking down upon me and thinking I don't know what I'm talking about, then you got another thing coming. Because I do. But I'm also speaking for the ones that's even younger than me. Because here's my thing. If y'all can't deal with me, y'all definitely ain't ready for them.
Yeah.
If y'all can't deal with me,
Erica,
y'all definitely ain't ready for them.
Erica, we're not trying to go there. Let's stick on the top. We was rolling now. We're not trying to go back there. We're not rolling back there. All right. Finish telling us a little bit about Good Kids Mad City. A little bit. You can finish telling us more about them. I know about it, but you can tell the audience about it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Good Kids Mad City is an organization started here in Chicago, but is now spanning to other states. And what they do is they focus on youth-led solutions for youth-based issues. So, like what we saw going down downtown, the gun violence that's typically about like a certain age group of youth. Is basically pulling those youth from those communities and those issues to actually learn how to become a part of the solution, learn to become organized, learn to become activists, learn how to stand during a press conference, learn how to work legislation, learn how to become confident enough to speak on these issues, educated enough to speak on these issues so they don't feel too shy, they don't feel like they don't know enough. And so basically like getting the voices of the youth, because if they become the solution, if they actually become the ones leading the solution, that's how we actually solve this. Because that's really how a lot of movements really started, was with young people. So instead of keeping the young people as like these people that we need to fix and like cure, instead we put them in the position of leadership that feel a sense of responsibility for their communities, instead of just like kids who just need to be solved and fixed. And it's been very successful. So the very ones that was picking up a gun are now the ones standing at the press conference. And not only are they standing at the press conference speaking on the solutions, but they're helping to write the legislation based on the knowledge they have, because they've been in it. They've been actively in it recently. And they know what's going on out here. They know the players, they know the parts, they know the moving pieces. They have so much knowledge we don't have. And so that's a very important piece. So that's how Good Kids Mad City works. And same thing with Brave Youth Leaders of St. Sabina. Like it's about teaching them and helping them to gain their power, gain their voice. Like I said, I do work with them. So I start when they start from nothing to where they're afraid to speak up. They don't really know what to say. To getting them so confident. Y'all think I talk a lot? Baby, let me get some of them on these lines.
Okay,
They
Erica.
will.
You
They
haven't,
will tell y'all
Erica,
Erica,
you haven't,
history, the background, everything. And I hope that y'all will be proud of them.
Erica, give us some addresses, phone numbers, and all that good stuff, and where our young people can contact some of these organizations. You got to give us, if somebody want to join Good Kids Mad City, give us some addresses, and go ahead.
I can put it.
Okay.
I can put it in the chat.
Okay.
I put it because I gotta look it up. I gotta put it in the chat. I don't want to be on speakerphone, so it'll be an echo. So I'm gonna put it in the chat for both organizations, their information, so that if y'all would like to connect y'all youth or children, or even youth that that could really benefit from this. I know Brave Youth, and I'm not sure about Good Kids Mad City all the time, but I know Brave Youth also does paid opportunities. So they can actually get paid to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Good Kids Mad City does that sometimes as well. So these can actually be like summer jobs as well while they learn and while they get it.
All right, Erica. Marcus, go ahead. Go ahead, Marcus.
I'm gonna just name.
Go ahead.
West Chatham Park. It's a playground. It's right behind Simeon. Parents might want to look at that. I believe the address is 8223 South Princeton. I'm not sure, but it's right behind Simeon. Fernwood on 104th and Wallace, 10436 South Wallace. Ogden Park, of course, it's 6500 South Racine. If you got kids that want to play football, Martin, they got a great football program over there. But so does Washington Park, so does Ada Park, and I'm trying to think of another big park. Hamilton Park has programs as well. Lindblom is known for a good football program, basketball, and swimming. Fernwood is known for swimming. It's a lot of parks. Jesse Owens Park across the street from CPS High School, Grand Crossing. These are big parks that I'm naming with gymnasium. Of course, Garfield Park on the west side, but I'm talking about the south side. The South Shore Cultural Center, they have a program in there as well. Jackson Park. It's a lot of programs. Also, I'm going to mention this. parents can also reach out to the Anti-Cruelty Society. They have volunteer programs where they show the kids how to deal with the animals. Adopt, they might want to check into that too. Whatever it takes to get these kids busy and get them off the street. I named a few parks on the south side. You can call them Monday. You can call them Saturday. They're there. Somebody will give you the information. They got great programs. Ogden Park has boxing, football, basketball, and I'm quite sure they got baseball and swimming during the summer. That's in Inglewood.
Mhm.
But don't let the hood scare you. Nice park.
Okay, because I'm quite sure a lot of parents live in these areas in the city. You got some out west, so we asking for solutions. So we getting them. We getting resources. These are jobs for teenagers. These not really grown up jobs. I mean, when I say grown up,
So
go ahead, Coach.
no, I can wait till you finish.
Okay, these
Mark,
are not
go ahead.
grown up jobs, and some of these are not jobs. They just community, working in the community, doing things in the community, learning. Like Coach said, if you want to learn how to be a referee, they pay you $50 for each game. So people, these are solutions. That's not all the solution, but these are solutions to get our sons and daughters, our young teenagers busy. I think I'm gonna get mine busy this year too. At 14 around age, you got to keep an eye on them. Got to keep an eye on them. You got to watch the girls and the boys now. You just can watch one, but you got to watch both now. So, hey, it is what it is. Okay, go ahead, Coach. Coach.
Martin, I will let you know when football. I will let you know when football starts.
Okay.
I will be at one of the Southside parks. I'm leaving. I was at Robert Taylor last year. I'm leaving that park.
Okay.
But I'm either going to Lindblom, Ogden, or Washington.
Okay.
But I will let you know when, like Chicago Park District football start. But also, I was just looking online, and I was about to drop the link up in the chat. It's a lifeguard, Chicago Park District lifeguard this summer, free certification and paid training. You have the deadline is tomorrow, May 1st. At 11:59 p.m.
Okay, put it in the message, put it in the chat if you can. I'll just type it in, put a link. You can
I'm
copy.
copying and pasting the link now.
Yeah. Because people, listen, these things are help. We have to help our babies. I call them our babies. They are our babies. They got names. We got to help them. Because just think about, I got off the wrong track for 5 years. Thank God I didn't get super messed up. I came back. So if I can change, I know a lot of people out there that was worse than me. They can change. It was by God's grace that blessed me. Yeah. So
I really want to share this story of what happened at my school, but I can't see it online because I don't know who's listening. But
right.
it was a sad story. Some had happened last week. It was so sad. These kids are really calling out for help.
Yeah, we don't want to get you messed up on the job. Okay, I think that's it.
I just want to say something right quick.
Go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
We have a lot of abandoned schools in our neighborhood. Those schools have gyms. And hopefully we can somehow get to Brandon Johnson, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and try to get some of the schools open for the summer. There are a lot of people who probably got ideas on how to utilize those buildings. Whatever it takes to get these teenagers off the street.
Mm-hmm.
We need to utilize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we need to utilize the people. Go ahead, Erica. Last word.
Yeah, so I know I've been given the womp form.
No. I had to slow you, Erica. I had to reel you in. I had to slow you down because you get off track. See what you do, Erica. This is what you do. You'll you'll stay on topic, but you address them in the message box. Don't worry about them in the messenger box. You know, just go ahead. You're a grown woman. I got another caller. Go ahead, Erica, so I can go to the next caller.
Okay, so what I want to say is that I'm just telling y'all, when y'all deal with these young people, do whatever you want to do with me. I'm not talking about me. I could care less, honestly, to be honest. The only reason I even care is because I understand that if it wasn't me and it was one of them, I understand the impact I have. I understand the power I have. If I tell one of them they talk too much, they'll never speak again. If I tell them that they dominate the conversation too much, they'll never speak again. And that's why I'm bringing it up. It's not about me. So my only message to y'all is that this is just a testing ground, y'all. Because we got young people that I'm actively sitting out here educating to be outspoken, to come on lines like this and talk about history and talk about how we got where we are and talk about solutions and talk about research they've done. And y'all don't know their age. Y'all don't know who they are, but if they sound a little too intelligent, you might just treat them the same way.
Okay.
So my whole point is just, please, y'all, please. This ain't about me. This is about them. And we have a power as older people and as adults to either make them want to speak up more or make them want to speak up less.
Okay. All righty.
And that's my only message here tonight, Martin.
Okay. Don't be feeling bad because you got the raw. I got two more callers.
No, I'm just saying.
You all right with me, Erica? You all right with me? Man, you don't always agree, but we don't call each other out names and stuff like that. So you know how it is. Right.
That's not. You know I love you, Martin.
Yeah, I love you likewise. You know I do. 313. Come on, Eric code 313. Come on.
Yeah. Only thing I would say would to give the youth what we didn't have this summer, at least because the school's not going to get it. Utilize the building to offer a free tax plan. Because learning taxes, you'll learn who you are. And they didn't teach us that. So since they didn't teach us, if we can teach this generation, I promise you, it'll be a different outcome. When you learn the rules of taxes, you'll learn who you are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, Detroit, Michigan. I know where you are. Okay. All right, 612. We got a Minnesota area code. 612.
Hello, hi Martin. How you doing?
Hey, how you?
All right. I want to say something about when you mentioned about Robert Taylor.
Yeah.
I grew up in Robert Taylor,
mm-hmm.
and I got friends. I'm still friends with for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
We went to kindergarten together all the way up, and we still get together for the Robert Taylor picnic.
Mm-hmm.
So what you said was right when you said you couldn't just come up in there because you couldn't. They didn't know you. You couldn't come in the building.
That's correct. I know, I tell you.
Yeah, and I got friends. We live in different states, but we still friends. Like I said, I'm 56, and my friends are like around my age. We've been friends since kindergarten, 5 years old.
Okay.
And we grew up in there. I grew up in there. So what you said was correct.
I appreciate you because, I was just trying to speak on facts. It's a family because, if you never lived in that environment and don't know and deal with, I used to be in the project, so I know different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived in it myself. It was just, they wasn't on top of each other, but the row house, we call them, the walk-ups or whatever. And I know how things was done and all that, from the outside looking in. People may look at us as animals and this and that and look down on it and all that, but y'all don't never know until you walk that walk. I would never know what it is to have cancer because I never had cancer. I would never know what it is to have a monthly cycle because I've never had one. Certain things you just will never know. I'm just using that as an example, not trying to throw kicks at something you just don't know. I don't know what it is to be on drugs. I've never been hooked on drugs.
Me either.
Never. I've sold them.
Both my parents were pastors.
Right.
And I never did drugs, drink, or smoke.
Mm.
So I grew up in there. My mother was a prophet, and my father was a reverend.
Mm.
So I grew up in a good upbringing, good Christian home.
Mm.
And what you said about people back then, welfare,
Right.
the woman was coming out all the time checking. I went through that too. Remember the movie Claudine.
Yep, that's what it reminded me. I went through that. I lived that experience, boy. I lived
that too. I hated it.
And you know what? I hate it too.
I hated that experience.
Let me say this too, my dear sister. I tell young people, now it's a difference reading history and living and walking through it and experiencing it. It's
living
different.
it.
They're living it. Listen, we lived through that Claudine experience. We lived through that crack cocaine experience, the war on drugs experience. We lived through a lot of these little things. I tell you,
we lived through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yes.
And when I try to tell my kids what I went through, like, what? I remember jumping off the elevator shaft, and the elevator would get stuck between the floors. I had to take an elevator. I lived on the 4th floor to jump off the shaft. When the elevator the things start rising, I mean, I'm like, you ain't been through what I've been through.
Yeah. And some of these children, some of these teens, they don't know what it is not to have no food in the house. They ain't never missed a meal. I know what it is. Listen, we grew up, we had the powder eggs. I'm gonna let you talk about powdered eggs, powdered milk, the piglings in the can.
Oh God.
All that stuff, the Frosty Flakes without
sardines
the sugar.
In the can,
Sardines. We had all that. I mean, that government cheese that come in a block.
Oh,
we lived that, young people. Any young person that's listening, we lived that. We lived it. Trust me.
Or the corner store with the raggedy food, the raggedy spoiled meat, the neighborhood grocery store, nothing's fresh. Oh, wow.
And we lived the Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid and sugar was our drink. Y'all, listen, y'all don't know nothing about that.
Yep. Or the penny candy ladies that sell the candies and stuff, trucking stuff in the area. Or we dodging bullets. You go out there to play in the playground, you got to try to take for cover. Yeah. It was terrible. Yeah. Some stuff was good, but most stuff was terrible.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marcus. Yeah. Go ahead, Marcus. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just after that. I caught a piece of it. Now, I might have been too young when the caseworker would come out to the house.
Right.
But I kind of vaguely remember that it wasn't you bringing back great times at the same time. And, I think these kids today are spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
They
don't understand.
We ate what we had what our parents could afford, and what they couldn't afford. We just reminisced. We dreamed about it, but that government cheese was the best cheese. When you think about it, that's Sam. And now I don't even deal with pork, but that's Sam back then as a kid. Throwing that in the skillet and frying it and putting cheese on it.
Oh my God.
That was a good meal.
Ooh, that was a good meal.
And then we had dinner time. I remember eating pinto beans and cornbread with hot sauce on it. I mean, that's the way I like it. Little sugar in it. That's the way I like it, man.
Well,
these are the
Marcus, I have no idea what y'all talking about.
I know it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I want you to listen. That's why I want you to listen. We know. Listen.
We've been through it.
Hey, Marcus.
And I tell my kids, I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
I ain't been in the military, but I tell my kids, I'm a soldier.
Listen.
You come out in projects, you make it out, you a soldier.
Listen too, Erica. Listen to this. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember the serb sandwiches we used to have? We make serb sandwiches.
Oh my God!
We take the white bread.
The toast sandwiches.
Yeah, you know how you take. Hold on, you take the butter and you put it in like on each corner in the middle. Then you stick it in the bottom of the oven and heat it up. Y'all remember that? You remember the grilled cheese? We put it on there. We put the butter in there. We buttered the whole thing up. I'm telling you, Erica, this is what we went through. And you remember this too,
people? This is history.
You remember we had them little pickle jars, the mayonnaise jars and all that. We used them for glasses to drink out of them. To drink out of them.
Oh, that nasty drink called the Tang.
Oh, the Tang. We had that.
Oh, God, it's horrible.
Like Marcus said.
The carnival hot dog, I thought I was going to die.
Oh, I can't stand that.
It was horrible.
Marcus, I think Marcus said the spam. Now, listen, Erica, the spam.
Like, what am I going into?
Hold on, young lady. The spam that we had, that was that breakfast food, boy. Oh, that spam. You take it out the can. So, I mean, we've been through some things. We work. But
we've been through some stuff.
Yeah, we've been through some stuff. We've been through some stuff.
Oh, them hidden hallways, you gotta touch that. Now you gotta touch that hallway pole. Piss and spit get on your hands. It was terrible.
It was terrible, Erica.
I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here.
I'm just telling you what
And
we
you gotta
went
go
through.
through that breezeway. You gotta go through that breezeway, right, to check the mailbox. The wind about to fly you back out. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
And listen, some
The
people.
building that I lived in, it wasn't the project, but I used to live at 407 West 71st Street. It was
I had Robert Taylor's 407. I stayed in.
I used to live on 71st Street in a 3-flat building. It was kind of like the projects. And when I say projects, I'm talking about the family. Because when you think of projects, you think gangs and drugs, right? It wasn't always like that. And it wasn't, and it was family. It was some type of moral respect. Matter of fact, a colleague of mine did a photo shoot. Her name is Anna. He did a photo exhibit documenting the lives of people who grew up in Robert Taylor and what was called State Hole down there. And her photo tells a whole different perspective. It was somebody's home, but my mother didn't raise me in those buildings, but we were in 3-flat apartment buildings, and they weren't no walk in the park. But it was a close-knit family. Like you could, if you didn't have something like salt, you could go down to your neighbor.
Yeah, I used to borrow. We did that. Yeah.
If you didn't have salt, you could borrow it. Wasn't nobody on the stuff that they're on today.
Yeah.
It was love.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all
Everybody
this.
borrowed through each other through the building.
Yeah, and let me tell y'all this. I remember not having no food because it was 4 boys and 2 girls, and we had 3-bedroom apartment. And I never, I ain't never had my own bed. Trust me, people, until I became an adult. And I tell people that never had a bed. I've always had to share beds and stuff like that. But what I want, what I'm just mentioning, people, y'all don't understand the struggle that we went through. We had to get up. I don't know if you're too young. We had to use a pair of pliers to turn the TV. We had a hanger.
Or turn the kitchen faucet on.
Or a hanger for an antenna, Erica. This is how bad that we grew up. We suffered. The thrift store, the second-hand store.
Don't
go ahead.
Remember them the bars on the window was so weak, so somebody wanted to break in, just knock the window right out.
Oh yeah,
the bar was just like these ain't no bars. What is this?
It's people. We had it rough coming up. I mean, those are conditions.
I had to fight every single day.
Yeah.
And you use one fist in eye, one fist here, nose and mouth, and they're gonna get you after school. You got to fight. Yeah.
And we went to that moment where you.
I had to fight every day. All day, every day.
You know what?
Every day.
Y'all, I got a new caller, but just hold on. Let me say, somebody put up some real. Melody Payne said, my question is from all of that went through, that are any of you all healthy? No pills, no diabetes, no no sickness.
I'm
Do y'all
healthy.
need a doctor? No. I'm curious, what kind of effect did this have on your community?
I'm fine.
I'm fine too. It just had a
We
mental effect.
soldiers.
Yeah, we're soldiers. We're soldiers.
Yep.
Yeah, we're soldiers.
Come on, you ever been in the military? I
Yeah.
tell them I've been in the military, the project. If you come out of there, you a soldier, you can go through anything.
Yes.
Just about.
Let us get this last caller so we can get out of here. Let me get this last caller. I got a last caller. Hold on. 3163. Go ahead.
Okay.
3163.
Hey, how you,
Go ahead.
hey, how you doing, Martin? This is Chris. Yeah.
What's going on, bro?
And yeah, I understand that, and I appreciate the history that you all are giving and whatnot. I would never disrespect or discredit any of those experiences. However, we still have to consider that the times were a little bit more difficult back in your time. And your time is like my parents' time. But today, the young Black people are still dealing with the worst versus all the other races, And the game might have changed a little bit, but it's the same. It's the same agenda. It's the same. Yeah, you all can say that some of the young people are spoiled or whatnot. However, you have to consider the fact that that's not on us.
Mhm.
You know, that it was the same for you all. You know, society shapes what we consider to be soft or sensitive, and they sensitize us in a lot of these scenarios.
Mhm.
You know, my
Brother,
generation, we know.
brother, let me just say something. Let me just say something to you, brother. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm not trying to say things are different now, but McDonald's, Burger King, White Castle, that wasn't no everyday thing for us. We would get that.
Nope.
That was like, I'm just being honest with you, brother. I ain't trying to disrespect your era.
Nope, it wasn't.
That was no everyday thing for us. If you got some McDonald's, man, you was happy. That was once in the
Be
blue
lucky.
moon. Some White Castles
Yep.
once in the blue moon. Any restaurant, you
Yep.
lucky. I'm just saying, brother. But what I'm saying, but what y'all have that we don't have, some of y'all ain't never missed a meal. Y'all got $100 shoes.
Nope.
Y'all ain't never wore nothing hand-me-downs that passed down. We had to wear secondhand clothing to school, brother. Some of us as coming up, we had to, brothers and sisters had to wear each other clothes. I'm telling you.
Yep.
I mean, you guys, y'all got digital computers and cell phones and stuff like that.
We
man,
had none of that back
man,
then.
we didn't have all we had was each
We had
other.
none
brother.
of that.
We had
Black
to
and
build,
white small
yeah.
TV.
Listen,
Man.
listen, brother. It was tough. It's still tough now. Don't get me wrong. We're still tough.
Yep.
But you know what? And we had love for one another, brother. And we can go to a neighbor's house, and if we short of butter, margarine, whatever, we can get it.
We shared.
We shared it, brother. I'm
Yep.
telling you, it was a family. It was a family, brother.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I'm not
know,
saying that bad about y'all
And
generation.
you'll stay family for 50 and 60.
Yeah.
You'll stay family for a year. Like I said, my friends, I've been family with them for like 50 years. We still friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I understand your brother's struggle.
Can't keep friends like that.
Yeah, hold on. Let the brother talk. Let the brother talk. Go ahead, brother. I'm
Okay.
sorry, but I just wanted to put that in. Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I want to drown you
I
out.
appreciate that.
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, I come from that time. You know, I was born in '92,
Okay.
so it was like a transitional period
Yeah.
from like, you know, where we still had those same factors. You know, you couldn't litter in the neighborhood. You had like 5 bags on every gate. You know, I come from that type of environment. You know, the lady on the corner pick you up from school when your mama couldn't do it. You know, I know what you all come from, and we can't. But I just feel like sometimes, you know, it don't make that big of a change in the individual's mind when you continuously telling them how hard it was before. Now, someone like me, I can appreciate it, you know, because I got respect.
Mm-hmm. But brother,
but a lot of these young people,
but let me just say it, brother. We have to let the young people know. We have to, brother, because I'm gonna tell you, and anybody on this live that's around my age, you'll know one thing about the Black community. Once we burn up your social security number, we getting the lights in your name. Once your name is burned up, we get the phone in your name. Listen, brother. We had to do what we had to do, brother. We had to do what we had to do.
Survive.
Listen, we had to survive, brother. We had to do what we had to do.
Yep.
And when our mama told us to lie, we had to lie. You know, when that phone, when that bill collector called that house and asked for Miss So-and-so, she not here. You got the wrong number. And we knew we didn't have call ID back then. We was little shorties.
Nope.
So we had to lie. We had to do it's a lot of things
We
that
had
we
to
had to
lie.
do, brother. And you know,
We didn't want to do it. We had to.
we had to do it. We had to do it. We
Yep.
had to do it, brother.
And that's the thing, you understand, like, what y'all need to understand about technology, and I relate to what the brother's saying. Like, nowadays, we can't do what y'all used to do on
No.
certain things.
No,
like
it's
put
a
in the
different
lights
time.
in your baby's name with Social Security.
It's different
Because
time.
now
This-
they can
yeah.
track if the
But
birthday,
see, the thing is,
you know, your birthday has to match social.
yeah, but y'all don't know how good y'all have it though. That's what I'm, you know, if we
Right.
could just
I
if
tell
we
my
could
kids
roll back
that.
if you can roll back the time, I mean, you young people,
They
y'all
couldn't
can
even
eat,
make it.
man, listen, y'all can eat McDonald's every day. Y'all eat fast food restaurant. We couldn't eat
Mhm.
all that stuff that you got. Not saying
You
it's
couldn't do
healthy.
that.
We couldn't do that.
Mm-mm.
Some of y'all parents can't even cook. Can't even cook. They eat out
Nope.
every day.
I learned how to cook when I was 10 years
Right.
old, Mark.
You
I
know,
learned how
we
to cook
had
when I
to.
was 10 years
We had to
old.
get in there.
That's what they listen
Mhm.
at, Mark.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marcus.
That's what some of the young people are missing today. That dinner time. We had dinner time. The dinner table was the information table. We sat at that table, we ate dinner. If you didn't sit at that table, you didn't eat in some houses. But we sat at that table, we had a dinner. We wasn't running the Babas or Walas or Sharks. There was no Sharks. There was no Walas. There was McDonald's. You remember Pizza Bay on Ashland. I remember that well because on Friday night, that's what our treat was. Not every Friday night. That certain Friday night, we got a chance. Our parents ordered a pizza, or it was Chinese food. It was a treat, and then they would take us out to eat at the buffets and now and then. But I think what is missing in our community today is that dinner table. Nobody sits at the dinner until it's Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Brother, that's the truth.
Yeah, you on to something, Marcus, because you on to something, Marcus, because this generation it's all about fast,
No cable.
fast.
We
so
had
the
Erica
whole, like,
too.
Yeah, no
Hold on,
cable.
Erica. We had no cable. We had on TV. That's what we
Nope.
had, and Spectrum.
Yep.
That's
That
what
black
we had.
and white crap.
That's it, black and white.
Or the smaller 9-inch TV.
Yeah.
We had a small 9-inch
Yeah,
TV. We
yeah.
all trying to watch that. How we gonna watch this together?
Yeah.
You know,
Or the meat
I
man.
relate
The meat
to
man. The meat man.
I relate.
Martin, have you ever heard about the meat man?
Oh, yeah.
Come through on the porch. The
Oh,
meat man.
Oh,
the
yeah.
meat man. That box
And
of
we,
meat.
The meat man.
and we had an orange juice
We
man
fly
and milk
through
man too.
different-
Yeah. We had the. But
Yep.
Erica, so these are stories
Hey,
that.
Mark.
Yeah. Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead. Go
Hey,
ahead.
so I was just watching your live. Half of the stuff y'all was talking about, my great grandma used to still make us do that, like the butter bread.
Right.
I remember when I was like 5 or 6 years old, she used to always give us that bread, and I used to cry because I didn't never want it. Like it was like the butter on each side, and we have to. She put it in the oven. She used to feed it to us. Also, but then when I got like 8, 9, the street light, we used to go by the street light. She used to say, "If these street lights beat y'all on this porch, I'm gonna beat y'all." So what she was saying is, if these street lights beat y'all coming on, y'all not on this porch, she's gonna whoop our butt.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to know when we see one street light pop on, we used to fly down the street.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Let me say this too.
Hey, Mark, you remember that time?
Hold on,
Hey, Mark, you remember that time when they have a game?
Hey,
Okay.
sister, hold on now. I'm gonna go back. For those old, y'all may not. They used to have a starch box. We used to make starch water, and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? People is a lot. I'm listen. Listen. We went through a lot, people. We went through a lot. Young people, like Marcus said, is that dinner table setting, that closeness. Everybody getting their plate. They going in their room. They going in the basement. They get on the computer eating.
Yep.
No talking. None. I mean,
Not
just
the table.
No communication and none of that. You get in the phone. You get in. Even with my little daughter, she 14. She get in the car. She looking down at her phone. Text. I said, put that phone up. Put it up. Put it up. She don't like it. Put it up. Look at me. Talk to me.
It's not even going in your room no more.
Yeah.
And going in the basement no more. It's like every man for themselves.
Yeah, and that's not good.
It's like everybody get their food where they can get it and eat when they eat. It's not like that. And I just wanted to say, like, the thing y'all just said, and I can relate to the younger caller. The TV thing just made me remember something I didn't even think about. So when y'all talked about the TV that you had to use pliers for, so one of my first memories is back in the day when I had to be a little kid, like a toddler, but like maybe 4 or 5, 6. But I remember watching the Michael Jackson Remember the Time video premiere. And back in the day when Michael Jackson premiered a video, it was like a big deal. Everybody like cried around the TV. But I'll remember we had a regular TV back then, but it was sitting on top this wooden TV that had like these knobs that were pulled off, but you probably would need pliers to use it. But that TV wasn't functional, and it was being used as like a TV stand. So I didn't even realize it was a TV until y'all just said that. Now that I'm thinking about it, what I grew up on as a TV stand was actually a TV, a big old wooden 1970s TV.
Flow model.
Turned it into a TV stand.
Yeah, flow model
And put
TV.
our TV on top of it. And that's the TV I grew up watching.
Seen it.
And I thought this whole time that was a TV stand, but it was actually a TV that we didn't use no more.
Yeah. Somebody, listen, I'm gonna let my dear sister say talk from. Let me just say that somebody said depression era 2.0 is going to force people to become more family oriented. I believe that. Go ahead, my dear sister. Then we got to shut it down, people. Go ahead. 612, I think. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you remember Time Martin, if you ever been there when they had a game war, they pull the lights in the switch box and the whole project going dark.
They do. They was known for that.
Man.
Oh yeah. But
On
you
the
know
floor,
what?
you got to
Now-
drop to the floor, slide under the bed,
but
get in the
listen,
closet, bullets flying.
now listen to this. Now didn't they warn us? They said y'all better not be outside at nighttime. It's going down. They tell
They
everybody
let you
in the
know.
neighborhood.
Yep.
They always tell us.
Everybody.
They gave us
Some people
warning.
still be standing out there.
Yep.
They don't believe it.
Yeah, I said y'all
Yep.
better not be standing out here because it's
And
going
my
down
name is
tonight.
Bridget.
Yeah.
My name is Bridget. So everybody know my name is Bridget.
Okay.
And
Miss
they're
Bridget.
pulling that light switch down. Everybody, lights go out. You can't see nothing. How everybody got to drop to the floor. You got to slide in the closet. You got to slide into the bed. Hope the bed don't fall on you. It was like, what in the world?
Yeah. So
So I
these,
wear, when it was snow, I wear military boots.
Yeah.
He said, why you got some military boots on? You been in the military? Yeah, I was soldier. I come out the project. You like
listen,
I'm crazy.
listen to this, people. listen to this. Young people, we had to wear some of the same things 2 or 3 times at school. Some of y'all want to go to school. If y'all don't wear nothing different. You won't go to school. We had to share. We had to wear certain things 2 or 3 times to school, but mama made sure it was clean.
Too.
We had to
That's
go
because
wash
the kids
it.
are booking bullies.
Listen, you know,
Same old thing over and over.
our bathtub, our kitchen sink, our bathroom sink was a washing machine. You had to wash that stuff up and hang it up. I'm telling you, so y'all people, y'all don't know what it like to suffer. Some of you guys don't know what it's like to hard time.
I tell my kids, y'all don't know what I've been through.
Man, I'm telling you.
I tell them, but they're like, what? Look at me like I'm crazy.
Arden,
Yeah.
it was like that in Inglewood in the street. Based on what y'all were just saying about when the lights would go down.
Mhm.
Well, the lights didn't go down in Inglewood, but they would ring the doorbell and tell the parents, don't let your kids come out. It's going down. We don't want them to get shot. I don't remember hearing about no drive-bys when I was growing up until Colors came out.
Right.
The first drive-by I heard about was on the west side.
Yeah.
But all the while I was coming to age, there were no drive-bys and weren't nobody shooting at kids. We could play basketball, kickball, softball, wherever we could find a lot to play softball in. We didn't always go to the park. We played on the street. We played till the street lights came on, and some of us played past the street lights. We was called in to eat dinner and went right back outside. And when it would snow, we would have some of the best snowball fights in the street. It wasn't nobody trying to kill nobody, even though killing was going on. But we had basic fights. We weren't trying to kill each other. We're just being kids. I think today kids are not being allowed to be kids. They're being forced to grow up soon. And that's one of the problems. And my friend Perry just said he has teams. I'll read it out to you if I can. He has a teen leadership club and sports and conditioning. So you need to get over to Robichaud and sign the kids up for that at 92nd Eccles.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to Perry Jackson.
All right. All right, people. I got to get out of here. I know
Martin, I just want to say
Erica,
one
what you
final
got to
thing.
say,
I
girl?
wanna say
Come
one
on.
final thing.
Come on.
So my final thing I want to say
Yeah, it's gonna be your
is that
final
I just
thing.
want the older generation to know too, like with like I get that y'all struggle, but understand the difference for us and my generation and younger is that with social media and like all of the technology now, we have constantly in our faces how other people live. So it's not so, I know back in the day they had a show called, I think it's called Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's not like that no more. It's not just a TV show. It's like we have a constant bombardment of seeing how these white kids live, how these rich kids live, how these upper middle class kids live on our social media constantly. So we constantly have something to compare our lives to on a daily basis. So it's not the same as kind of being a bit oblivious. And then the last thing I wanted to say was there's a reason why, and I did it with you, Martin, because I trusted you, but I typically don't share my actual age. And the reason I don't is because most people, if I told you, Martin, that I was in my 20s, you probably would have believed me. Most people think I am. I have to disclose that I'm not. And back in the day in the civil rights movement, they used to send, white passing. Y'all heard the term white passing, black people who look white. They would send them into situations for the civil rights movement to kind of like see how people really gonna treat black people before they brought the
Erica,
actual
you
black
forget who
people
you're
in.
talking to? We know that already.
And,
You telling us stuff that we know.
okay, so my
we know that already.
okay, so my point I'm trying.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Go ahead,
I'm
Erica.
preaching to the choir about that.
Yeah.
But my point is when
You
it comes
came
to
late.
age, when it comes to age, I'm somewhat age passing. So for me to reveal my actual age, I don't typically do that because the reason why I get sent into certain situations, is because before we send the actual 20-somethings and the young people into it, I want to see it's to see how y'all treat me. So I know a lot of people think, oh, we just doing that to you, Erica, because you older, but we wouldn't treat the young people like that. It's the same thing as telling a white passing person during the civil rights movement, oh, we just doing that because we know you a Negro. But we're not going to treat the Negroes like that. Yeah, right. So I have kind of an age passing that I use strategically sometimes. So the only reason I reveal my actual age on here is because I trust you, Martin. But I just want to let y'all know the way you treat me, if I never said how old I was, you would actually think I was in my 20s. So the way you treat me without knowing otherwise, that tells us in the movement how you're going to treat the young people. That's how this works. So don't think that because you know my age, that it means that
But
you
Erica,
haven't understood how
I'm 56, and I look 38.
Erica,
I look 38.
I'm 54.
I'm 56, but I look 38.
And I look every bit of looking in my 40s. Probably, hey, I'm a nice looking young man. So, hey, my skin is smooth.
How old do you think?
Doctor told me I'm gonna age 9 years slowly, and I'm doing it.
Erica, how old
Yeah,
do you
so
think?
my point is most people without knowing think I'm in my 20s.
Yeah.
So when I go in, they think I sound like I'm in my 20s. And so when they look at me, when they meet me, Martin, you've been around me.
Yeah.
You didn't think I was my age.
No. I didn't know how old he was.
That's called
Martin, Erica's a little sister.
Exactly. That's called passing.
Yeah.
So like I could pass for a 20-something if I don't say nothing.
Erica,
Just like
Erica,
back in the
stop,
day.
Stop, Erica, stop. We got to go. Marcus closes out. We got to go, Erica. Stop. We got to go. Marcus, say your last piece so I can go.
Well, Erica, I'm going to turn you on one more time. How old do you think I am?
Marcus?
If you still, yeah. How old do you think
I
I
would say you in your 50s.
Mark,
I didn't hear you.
She said, what you say, Erica? Tess?
I said I would say you in your 50s.
Woo, you guessed it right.
All right.
Did you say 50? You guessed it right.
50s.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, y'all,
Yeah,
I gotta
you're
go.
50.
We
Yeah.
gotta go, people. We gotta go. I can't let y'all talk no more. That's it.
You already know what it
All
is.
I
Live,
appreciate y'all. Appreciate you,
uncut,
Erica.
unedited.
I'm be calling
You
your
already
show
know
more
what it
often,
is.
Martin.
Thank you.
Live,
I need more
uncut,
callers. Thank you.
unedited.
This is where we
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
don't know about you, Erica, but I
love being black.
don't know about you,
I
Marcus,
love
but I
being
love being
black.
black. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. It was good being back. I missed y'all the last couple
Thank
of
you.
days. Thank y'all so much. I
Good
appreciate
night,
you.
everybody.
Thank y'all for the support.